No, right, One Pride Nation. We're now firmly into the off season, past any football I really care about. So we get to talk about what the Lions are looking at. And as we mentioned on Monday, offensive coordinator John Morton was fired. And so we get to start talking about the names that will come up as possible offensive coordinators and even some names that haven't come up yet that I really like. But first, we have to address the elephant in the room. According to Ian Rappaport, David Blau has been lined up for an interview for the offensive coordinator spot. This has been met with some very mixed reactions from Lions fans, mostly seeming negative from what I've seen. So I want to talk about it. What would I like about David Blau and what wouldn't I like? And I want to get your input and see how you feel about this being someone that's being interviewed. Not necessarily a shoe in for the job, but being looked at. First, David Blau is young. He's only been outside of the league playing for the last 2 years, both in coaching. But even when he was a player, he was always seen as more of a coach. Even in his time in Detroit, it was always talked about what a great locker room guy he was, what a great clipboard guy he was, and the Detroit Lions media often noted that he was going to make a great coach someday. That seems to have come to fruition. While he spent the time this past season as the quarterback's coach in Washington, you may not know that the Commanders blocked 3 interview attempts from the Bears, Jets, and Jaguars for his services. That means the coaches that coached him here in Detroit, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, both wanted to bring him on board for their offense. One as a quarterback's coach and one as a passing game coordinator, which we already know Dan has an affinity for his offensive coordinators. Now again, he is young, 30 years old, and that may be one of the biggest drawbacks to him. He doesn't have a lot of experience, and he has no experience calling plays. And while we did learn from this past season that he does have some involvement in play design, that's only a small part of what an offensive coordinator would do. We don't know about his ability to game plan. We don't know his ability to control game flow. And we really don't know anything about him being in total control of an offense. Additionally, this would be another comfort hire for Dan, someone he's familiar with, someone who's familiar with the system, which can also be a perk. He knows Goff. He knows Goff's abilities, probably better than most. He was in the quarterback room with him every single day. So, while we may not want to get the comfort pick, it does have some advantages. But I want to know what you think. This is, of course, only the first name we've gotten, so we'll likely get more, and we'll definitely talk about more. But how do you feel about David Blau as possibly being the next Lions OC? I want to know your thoughts in the comments below.